Hey, it's Michael Douglas. Welcome back to Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And you know, the most influential figure in the literary arts is undoubtedly William Shakespeare. And if you fancy yourself a writer, then Shakespeare has influenced you in some way. Now, in reality, his influence is so foundational that it really can't be escaped. Shakespeare's influence is everywhere, and on a plethora of occasions, many artists have willingly leaned into it, including the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, who this week, 65 years ago, November 28th, 1960 to be exact, scored his third #1 single of that year with the track Are You Lonesome Tonight, which featured a spoken word passage that was inspired by the bard himself. Originally released in 1927 by Charles Hart, Are You Lonesome Tonight became a huge hit for Elvis Presley after he released a recording of the track in 1960. Now, it was released in November that year and just quickly shot to #1, where it started a 6-week run at the top, and it followed 2 other successful singles from that year. The tracks Stuck on You and It's Now or Never. Needless to say, Presley was dominant in that year, and he was so dominant, as a matter of fact, that he really felt the need to take a risk and throw a little English Renaissance influence smack dab into the middle of one of his greatest hits. Why not? If Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, or even Leonard Cohen released a song with a reference to Shakespeare, it wouldn't really be all that surprising. However, the masses don't often remember Elvis as a literary mind for music and the creation of it for an intellectual stimulation. Well, on this track he did, and he did pretty well. Well enough to start a 6-week run at the top of the charts. Now, if you want to hear the spoken word passage rooted in Shakespearean influence, then check this out. Right in the middle of the song, Elvis Presley started his spoken word by saying, "You know, someone said that the world's a stage and you must play a part." Don't even get me trying to do an Elvis Presley impression. I can't go there.
I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. You know, someone said that the world's a stage and each must play a part. Fate had me playing in love with you as my sweetheart. Act 1 was where we met. I loved you at first glance. You read your lines so cleverly and never missed a cue. Then came Act 2. You seemed to change, you acted strange, and why I've never known. Honey, you lied when you said you loved me, and I had no cause to doubt you. But I'd rather go on hearing your lies than to go on living without you. Now the stage is bare, and I'm standing there with emptiness all around. And if he won't come back to me, then they can bring the curtain down.
Now, subsequently, he goes on to talk for roughly another minute about love, loneliness, and heartbreak. Again, this may seem a bit trivial in the grand scheme of Elvis's illustrious career by that point, or even his entire career. However, this passage does show a different side of Elvis that one rarely sees. And despite what many people believe, Elvis seemingly could toil into the metaphysical world via literature, and this #1 hit is a testament to just that.